Alright lads, it took a few weeks, but I finally got my tier 20, so this is going to be a Fury Warrior guide on the single target rotation and how the tier 20 impacts that. I'm going to go over the rotation both inside and outside Battlecry, and this will assume that you're running Inner Rage, Frothing Berserker and Reckless Abandon, which are really just the go-to talents for any single target fight. Mainly because of the good synergy between Frothing Berserker and Reckless Abandon, giving you that good Frothing Berserker buff during your cooldowns, and of course just the raw damage from Inner Rage and its versatility on lots of encounters. The basic principles and objectives of Fury to get good DPS are basically keeping high enrage time through rampages and bloodthirst crits, keeping good Frothing Berserker uptime via good rage management, and getting as many raging blows in as possible both inside and outside of cooldowns. Fury works off of a priority order list based on your hardest hitting abilities. So above 20% boss HP and outside of cooldowns, your normal rotation is going to be Enraged Raging Blow, Rampage at 100 Rage, Bloodthirst, Non-Enraged Raging Blow, and Furious Slash. So how that ends up looking is essentially just cycling through your abilities until you get to 100 Rage, and then if you're enraged, hit Raging Blow if it's off CD. If it's on CD or you're not enraged, then you're rampaging. The idea behind getting 100 Rage is obviously to proc your Frothing Berserker buff, and then dump all your rage, and then basically start cycling through your abilities again, always trying to get as many raging blows in as possible and only hitting Furious Slash when there's nothing else to hit. The priority during Battlecry is essentially the same, however you've got the addition of Odin's Fury in the mix. So that's still, again, Enraged Raging Blow, Rampage at 100 Rage, then Odin's Fury, Bloodthirst, and Furious Slash. So in the background you'll see me actually kind of putting that priority order list into practice. So what you'll see is if I'm enraged and I pop Battlecry, then I will Raging Blow straight away, followed by Rampage because I've hit 100 Rage due to Reckless Abandon, followed by Odin's Fury, Raging Blow, Bloodthirst, Furious Slash or Rampage, whichever the one's available, followed by Raging Blow, and then Bloodthirst. If you're fortunate enough to have the Legendary Helm and the Legendary Pants, then you're going to get an absolute bucket load of extra rage during Battlecry, which will allow you to use Rampage after your Raging Blow and your Odin's Fury in place of Bloodthirst and Furious Slash. By doing that, you actually avoid consuming the stacks of your 4-piece on Bloodthirst, and you push out your weakest hitting ability, Furious Slash. Apart from that, tier 20 doesn't really notably change your rotation. You can try and fish for Raging Thirst, your 2-piece proc, by placing Bloodthirst ahead of Raging Blow if you're enraged and you don't already have the Raging Thirst proc. However, this doesn't always work because you only get a 50% chance to then buff your Raging Blow. So sometimes it will work and you'll get a small net gain. Other times it won't work and you'll be at a loss. So it's really just quite an unreliable way to try and get a marginal gain overall. Not to mention it's quite hard to track, so use at your own risk really. And with all of the other boss mechanics and stuff going on, well, in my opinion, it's much better to try and just execute a clean kind of consistent rotation, because that's at the end of the day how you get the better DPS. And regarding the 4-piece bonus, even though the tooltip says it stacks up to 10, you're absolutely never going to get to 10. You've done something like drastically wrong if you get to 10. You'll get one very often, you'll get 2 fairly regularly, and you'll get 3 very, very rarely, but it is possible. 4 I've not seen yet. I don't know if it's possible. I assume not. Unless maybe you've got to move out for some reason and you happen to have 3 already and you can't get that Bloodthirst off, so you have to run out and charge back in, or and then you can Rage and Blow again and keep the stacks. I don't know, some sort of niche scenario like that, I guess. And really, that's all there is to it for the tier 20 rotation above 20%. What will happen quite often when you're trying to get to 100 Rampage is you'll get stuck at like 98 or 97, 99 Rage, and although it's tempting to wait for a auto hit to bump you up to 100 Rage to then, Rampage, you're absolutely better off just carrying on with your rotation, even if it means you're going to hit Furious Slash. I mean, you'll still have the Taste for Blood buff, which you can make use of at some point. There are very niche scenarios where it would be worth waiting, but that requires a very keen eye on swing timers, whether you're enraged. So 9 times out of 10, you're better off just carrying on with your rotation, getting 100 rage and then rampaging as you would normally. Because missed GCDs are bad GCDs, and as a Fury Warrior, you want to be hitting something all the time, keeping good uptime on the boss, doing your rotation, always be hitting something. It's quite a locked spec in the sense of it's very much you're always going to be hitting something. One final thing about Battlecry and Rampage is you don't ever want to be holding Battlecry, especially if you're using Convergence of Fates, which you should be because it's your best single target trinket. It's just, and your AoE one actually, it's just your best trinket, use it. But you don't ever want to be holding Battlecry in order to be able to Rampage before your Battlecry window. Even though the priority states in Raging Blow as the highest priority, you don't want to hold Battlecry because you could risk losing procs of the trinket. If you can Rampage, then Rampage regardless of getting to 100 rage or not, which will allow you to then open your Battlecry window with a Raging Blow. But if you can't Rampage, if you're at 40, 50 rage, just hit Battlecry straight away, Rampage, and then follow the standard priority. If you are Rampaging just before you Battlecry, you can time your Battlecry just at the end of Rampage, so the last 2 ticks go in that window for free, essentially. It's very minor DPS, but it's, DPS. I will at some point be doing a Execute rotation for tier 20, but I'm still trying to retrain my fingers, trying to move from tier 19 to tier 20, so I keep hitting Furious Slash when I shouldn't, so I don't have any good footage to show you yet. All the information I provided can be found on the Fury Warrior FAQ and guide on MMO Champ, written by much smarter people than me, who know much more than me. There's some good additional info and clarification there if you need it. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any requests for other videos that you might want information for, then also leave them in the comments. Apart from that, you can catch me on Coburn_25 on Twitch, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.